Hey, what's going on, my fellow jewelers? So today we are making a beaded necklace. Now, I have done this technique in the past on another jewelry video, but I have done this technique so many times that recently I just tweaked it just a little bit and it looked like a whole different necklace. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with my viewers because it is gorgeous. So here's the necklace that we are doing. Oh my goodness. I love the big beads mixed with the small beads. And this is actually kind of braided. I mean, you wouldn't be like technical braid, but the beads can move up and down still. And so, oh my gosh, I love how these little beads complement the big beads and how the big beads are so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love this necklace so much. I kind of stumbled. I was like just filling with beads one day and I was like, this is beautiful. I was like, I gotta share it with my viewers. So I'm sharing it with you today. Super easy, a very simple technique. It's just a repetitive thing you do over and over again. And then you got this gorgeous necklace or bracelet. I've made these into bracelets as well before. So before we get started, make sure you subscribe my channel and click that bell to get notifications because you know, I'm all about the how-tos of jewelry making, whether beaded jewelry, whether resin jewelry, I got your back. So you and me, let's get started. All right, let's get started making this cute beaded necklace. So the tools and the materials are all listed in the description below. Go check that out. I have some links for you for some of the same things that you may want as me. Not everything you can get online that I have today, but you do you, I be me, and I'll just show you some techniques. All right, so let's get started. Now, the first thing is let's get our wire. Now you can cut your wire to the length you want. I like doing this technique where I have 3 of my spools and I take them and I make them about the same length. They kind of want to unspin, and so luckily they have these little guys on here like that, and I hold it like this and then I unspool the other one. I'm using a 0.3 millimeter, another 0.3 millimeter, and a 0.45 millimeter. I like not using all the smallest millimeters. I like having at least 1.45, not 1.45, 0.45. But if you want all small, that's fine. I just like having at least one big wire. I don't like having more than one because I feel like it gets stuck in the bead or it's just not as easy to work with when it comes to stringing it. And so I like to use just one 0.45 millimeter, and then I'll get my other one and I just stack them on top of each other and it works pretty well. There's times where it's a little topsy-turvy, but for the most part, I just stack them right on top of each other and I'm able to do this technique in that way. All right, so I'm gonna get all 3 of my wires like this, and I'm gonna add my first big bead first. And I've done this bead on my channel before, but I really like this different pattern. It's a little bit different. Usually I use all different size beads. And so for the first bead, I have my 3 wires, right? My first bead, I'm putting all 3 wires in that first bead. And then I am doing this one small bead right here, and I'm only grabbing 2 of the wires. So I'm putting 2 of the wires on. This is a reason I did not want 2 big wires. I wanted at least one 4.5 millimeter and one 3 millimeter because the small beads won't take 2 big wires. And so I have put my bead on, and then I need to remove one of the wires I used, and I need to use a different wire plus one of the wires I did use, right? And so I am putting my next bead on using just 2 wires, and it's just a pattern. So we did, this bead has 3 wires in it, this bead has 2 wires, and this bead has 2 different wires in this bead. And then I'm going to put my next bead on, a bigger bead, right? And I'm putting this on with all 3 wires. And so you're just going to continue that pattern. Now let me show you what happens when you put 2 of the smaller beads on the same exact 2 beads, because it doesn't really work. I mean, you may like it, but I think putting them on different wires really, really works. So let me show you. Okay, so I'm putting this bead on the 2 wires right here. I'm putting it on the 2 wires. And I'm just going to show you what it looks like when I put it on the same 2 wires. Because you're like, Des, what's the point? Like, does it really matter if you put it on 2 different wires? Yes, you need to have at least 1 different wire. See, what happens is when you put it on the same wire, they just kind of go together, and it doesn't really have the pretty effect like this has. So you need to, this bead, use these 2 wires, right? So for my next bead, I am getting rid of 1. And I'm using 1 similar 1 wire, and I'm then I'm adding the other wire in, just like that. And so you just do that pattern throughout the whole necklace. So it's really just a pattern of 3 wire, 2 wire, 2 wire, 3 wire, 2 wire, 2 wire, 3 wire. And you do that through the whole necklace, and it looks so very gorgeous. Now, I know you don't want to watch me stringing all of this, and so I'm going to put it in fast forward. Then after that, after I string all of them, I will show you the very next step on how to put your clasp on. Okay, so I got my last bead on, and I want to show you what you need to do and how you need to put the clasp on. So as you can see, we have our necklace here. This went crazy on me. I didn't have enough wire when I put these guards on, so I just took them off and they went a little cuckoo. They're going crazy. They're going crazy. Oh my gosh, they're so going crazy. So this is a little squished, right? Like this is too squished. You want it a little bit spread out. So I am just going to move. The nice thing is these beads are not stationed. They can be moved. They are mobile. And so we're just going to move our beads down the line just a little bit. I love this necklace that does it, but I also hate it because it does it. And so sometimes when you get exactly where you want it and you put it on yourself, they all just move where they want. So I am moving these down, and now what we're going to do is my wire, my shortest wire right now is right here. We're going to cut it so they're all even. I want to cut it so it's even. All right, so I cut my wire so they're exactly even. Before I put my crimping beads on, I want to put my jump rings on my chain and on my lobster clasp. And the reason we do it on the chain is because the links aren't always sealed tight. And so when we have a jump ring, it's less likely that the necklace will fall apart. And so right now I'm just putting a simple jump ring on. If you've never dealt with a jump ring, but I have a tutorial for you. So I'm going really quick with the jump ring. If you don't know how to use it, here it is. Go ahead and check it out later and learn how to put a jump ring on, because it's so important when it comes to beaded jewelry. All right, so I'm putting my jump ring on my lobster clasp, and I am going to seal it up. And it's so nice because you seal it up and there is no gap. You don't want a gap in any of your jewelry making, because what happens is if there's a gap, it falls apart or it falls off, and then it's not wearable or it's not as pretty or whatever the case is. So now I need to also put on my jump ring on my chain. And again, these chain, they're open links, and so they have just a teeny tiny absolute microscopic gap, but it's enough where it can fall apart. And so I'm putting on my jump ring. I open my jump ring, I'm putting it on my chain, and then I'm going to close it up. So we have our chain. Now comes a part where we add our jump ring with our lobster clasp and our jump ring with our chain. So I have 2 sizes of crimping beads. When I do like 3 wires in one, I tend to use a bigger crimping bead, but sometimes I'll use a smaller one. But you're gonna wanna put 2 crimping beads per side. And I know that sounds weird, but just follow me. So I'm putting crimping bead on this side, and then I'm putting a crimping bead on this side, right there. And I am going to put my jump ring on, and I need to push this down just a little bit more so I have a little bit of room. And you're making sure that the crimping beads are staying on one side and not going to the open end past this jump ring. And I'm going to bring my wire around my jump ring. Do you see that? I brought around the jump ring. Now I'm going to put it through both crimping beads. Both. Bring it through both crimping beads. So it's on that crimping bead, put it pretty far down, not all the way. And then I'm gonna put my other crimping bead on with all 3 wires. All 3 wires need to go in. All 3 of these wires need to go in the crimping bead. And with the first crimping, with the crimping bead closest to your lobster clasp, it needs to not be as far as possible. There needs to be a little bit of give. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take and I'm gonna crimp the first crimping bead, just like that. And there's a little bit of give. We want a little bit of give, that's good. But I have too much wire. And so I am gonna cut it down. And the reason we have this crimping bead is that it holds the end of the wire in. I'm gonna cut off the wire because if I just cut off the wire right next to the first crimping bead, I know people tell me it won't slip if you do it right. That's baloney. And so I want to make sure that my wire does not slip from my crimping bead. So I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to cut as close to my crimping bead, those 3 wires sticking out as possible. And then see, it's flush right here. It's right at the very end of that crimping bead. And I'm going to crimp my crimping bead like that. And so there you have one side. And so I do 2 crimping beads when I have more than 1 wire. That's just me. This is how I roll. You don't have to roll like me. Do whatever roll you want to do. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. I'm sorry. I like songs connected to what I say. So I'm about ready to cut it. But before I cut it, I want to make sure that it looks nice. It looks decent. It doesn't look too squished. It doesn't look too separated. It looks like I want it. I am pretty happy with how far spaced my beads are. So now it's time to choppity chop, chop, chop. Okay, let's do this. So we're gonna cut, I'm gonna cut a good amount because, right, I gotta curl it back around. So I'm gonna cut a good amount like that. And then I am going to put my 2 crimping beads on. So 1 crimping bead. I don't know if you can hear my son in the background. I always try to tell him I try to tell him be really quiet, but sometimes he's 6, he forgets. You know what I'm saying? So forgive me if you hear my son in the background. It's pretty cute, but I do try to be quiet for my videos. Okay, so let's put the second bead on. Okay. And now we're gonna put the jump ring side of this. Oh, and then my heater wants to go on. Lovely. Okay, and now we're going to bend it around. Bend all 3 around. Bend all 3 around. Bend all 3 around, and then get all 3 in both of those jump rings. Okay. And we're gonna do the same thing. The same exact thing. Crimp your first crimping bead. Check out your second crimping bead. I'm gonna cut. Oh, and I did not get all the crimping beads in there. Good thing I didn't do it. And then we're going to crimp. And then that's a little too long. That's a little too long for the chain. I'm just gonna cut off the chain. And there, my fellow jewelers, you have this gorgeous, yeah, I'm wearing the same one today. I can't help it, it's so gorgeous. You have this gorgeous beaded necklace. Ah! I just have to get really up close and personal because this necklace is fabulous. I'm on a chair thrusting my neck at you to show you this amazing necklace. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, and yes, I do matchy today. This is what I wore. Oh gosh, let me just change it over so you can't see all that. All right, this is what I wore to church today because I'm like, ooh, one of my favorite dresses matches now my new favorite necklace. Yes, please. And so I want to know what you guys think of the necklace. Comment, share, like, give me a big old thumbs up, share with others. And then if you have done this, if this video has inspired you or my other videos inspired you, make sure you send pictures to my Facebook because I like to see your creation. I love to see what you guys make. Like, interact with me. Like, you get to hear my voice. Now I want to hear from you as well. All right. That's all I got for you before I go. I love praying for you. You know, and if you don't know, now you know, I love praying for my viewers. And so I always ask God, what do you want me to pray for? And this was very specific. And so I asked him if I could broaden it just a little bit, but he was very specific in a sinus infection. For those that have a sinus infection right now, he wants me to pray for you. And I was like, can I pray for other colds? Can I just pray for colds and flus? He's like, yeah, sure. But make sure you add in that sinus infection. So I want to pray if you are sick. Oh my gosh, it's like been like 6 season or something. My family got hit pretty hard. I know other people got hit pretty hard. So I'm praying for just you being sick and the sinus infection. So Lord, I thank you that you care about when we're sick. Lord, for those that have a sinus infection, I just release healing over them right now. I pray healing. I command the sinus infection to go in Jesus' name. For those that have been like sick with a cold or with a flu, have a cough, have chills, have all that stuff, I just pray healing over you. I command the cough to leave. Lord, I command like headaches to leave and the snot and the snot and the congestion to leave in Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Guess what? I'll catch you on the next video. Bye!